I'm Stefan Baumann, and welcome to another podcast. Today, I have an interesting and fascinating interview with Virginia Lago. She's one of my artists over the past years, and she's gained quite a lot of success on Instagram, on Facebook, by marketing pet portraits. She's a wonderful personality and a wonderful artist. I asked her about this pandemic that we're going through, being locked down in the houses, and asked her how is that influencing her marketing, and she actually has a surprising answer. So sit back and listen into this fascinating conversation and interview with Virginia Lago. I see you a lot on Facebook and things. It seems like every time that I go on Instagram, there you are with another dog, another portrait, and now you're doing portraits of families, I see.
Of families and people, because the word of mouth and people like my style, and then they wonder if I can paint a face as well as a dog, and then I'll say, yeah, I can paint a face, even though I don't market the faces,
Yes?
because my branding is the dogs. I will always say yes, I can paint
Yeah.
faces. And now this year I'm going to start a new series with the dogs, with the owner.
Wow. That's taken on quite a different look. I know that when because you first started with me with coaching
Yeah, I think I started with you 2 years ago,
two
or
years ago.
three.
I think it was more like 3 years ago you started with me coaching. What caused you to give me a phone call to begin with?
Stefan, I needed a direction, and I needed someone to keep me in on a path. I
Mm-hmm.
knew I wanted to paint. I knew I wanted to paint better. And I needed someone to guide me and hold my hand and keep pushing me forward. And I was already familiar with you on YouTube because of your painting videos and your advices and your what I like the most about your videos, actually, that you are a inspiration and you know so much, and your videos are to the point. They cover a lot of different aspects and doubts that people have, and they are short. They're fun and they're easy to listen, 15, 20 minutes, 30 sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was already super familiar with your videos, and you were already inspiring me until one day I saw that you coach. So I'm actually sitting in front of a building getting ready to go into to teach an art class. And I had a few minutes and I said, you know what? Let me call this number and I'm going to leave a message, because I never thought you would answer the phone.
Yeah.
So I called you and you answered. You answered the phone and I talked to you and I was like, Stefan, this is so cool.
I
I know
know.
your voice by heart.
I know. Most people were surprised when I do answer the phone.
Yep,
That's the
yep.
first thing that I do. And sometimes it shocks people, though. Sometimes they'll actually just hang up. They'll like oh my God, it's him, and they hang up. So, but
I thought it was awesome.
so you picked up the phone and called. I remember back when I first got a phone call from you. You were doing at the time portraits, weren't you?
Yes, that's correct. I was focusing on faces, which is something I always liked. I always liked to study faces because I think in the painting world, it's one of the most challenging ones. And I like a challenge.
You do.
So I want to learn how to paint faces.
Well, you were
So,
at the time, pretty heavy. I mean, when we first started coaching, and it's been a couple of years. I've had lots of coaching students since then. There were a couple of things going on financially with you, and some things that were going on. Where it was almost like you felt like you really needed to make painting a business. A lot of times when I get phone calls from students, I use you as an example because I go, Virginia's just a rock star with her business. painting, and she's painting full time. And I know that our first phone call was more or less about, okay, I'm doing portraits, and now I want to go into making money from them. And we were talking about you doing some political portraits and some portraits of judges. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember. I even offered to paint the mayor here in my city. And so I was really into trying to get leads to paint faces and maybe famous faces and things like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like with me back then? Because I kind of remember we spent a lot of time scheming, trying to figure out which avenue we were going to go down for quite some time, until all of a sudden you had this new idea.
Stefan, I think with everything in this life, it's a trial and error. And we have the ideas and we have to tackle it and we have to try. And you would give me weekly assignments in things that I could try here, try there, try that Facebook group, go in on your city, try the stars, the celebrities, and so on and so forth. And I did. I spent the whole week thinking of ways to market and sell and create leads, and then here this worked and that didn't work, and we, like with everything, we kept adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
And in a month, things change so much. You grow, your painting skills get better, your ideas change. But what you helped me so much was with the brainstorming and try to tackle this week, try to check on that next week. And that's what I was doing. I was really in tune with you and agreeing with your ideas and working on it.
Yeah,
like a student.
I know. It's amazing how intimate coaching can be. I mean, even remember you calling me a few times. You were visiting your mother in Brazil. Isn't that where you're from?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
you were in Brazil making your coaching calls. So yeah, it just kind of proves you don't have to be at home to do the coaching calls. You could be anywhere in the world.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about your background. When did you start painting, and what kind of training did you have? Where you were born?
I was born in Brazil. I was brought up speaking German because my great grandparents, my grandparents, I'm sorry, immigrated to Brazil from Austria. So I grew up speaking German, went to a German school, and then I started, I learned Portuguese, obviously, from Brazil, and I moved to US. I married an American that was raised in Brazil, and I did all my paperwork in Brazil. I came to US, and I had my green card back then in 87. And a few years later, my husband and I decided, let's conquer this country. Let's be part of this. Let's embrace this country, this culture. And then I got naturalized. And now I'm a Brazilian American. I have 2 citizenships, and I've been here for 33 years.
Wow. I'm always amazed. Coaching you was just always a wonderful. You're always upbeat, and I was watching one of your Facebook. Because you do stuff on Facebook. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, on Facebook, I have almost 5,000 followers. I almost reached the limit on Facebook. And I have daily postings also on it. But more importantly, how I use Facebook is I connect with people. I love people, and I love to be talking to them and getting to know them. And I now lately have been doing some live videos. I go live on Tuesday nights, and I have like at least 30 people watch me paint.
Yeah, I know. I watch that. What I always love is that you start off with a glass of wine. And I think that's really sweet. Now, do you have two Facebook accounts, or you just keep everything going on the one Facebook?
I only have this one with
Yeah.
my name,
Yeah.
Virginia Lago. And then I have the Virginia Lago art, but I don't really like it, to be honest with you. I like the more personal one. It's Virginia Lago. It's almost like you can go on my page. It's all about dogs and about painting and about drinking wine and being positive and fun. You can go on through my photos. I think it's almost like you, Stefan. You're an open book. You're so approachable and you're so real.
Well,
And
thank you.
and I like to be real.
Well,
I'm
we when we were crafting some ideas, because I've learned a lot along the way with coaching students like yourself. A lot of times Facebook comes up and everybody says, "Oh, I need to open up a business account with Facebook," and I always tell them, "No, actually, I think people are more interested in your life. It's more autobiographical, and I think you're more in touch with Facebook." And when I start students off in Facebook, I tell them, don't open up a separate account. Use your family Facebook. Just kind of watch out that you don't get too political or anything like that. But
correct.
I think since painting is autobiographical, it's more organic. And when you go onto your Facebook, you not only just see your paintings, just posted, but you see the process of them. Your clients are interacting with them. Periodically, we get you at a gallery or a showing or something, and you don't get that organic feeling on Facebook in the business section. You just kind of finish a painting and post it, and finish a painting and post it. And obviously, you hook up your Facebook with your Instagram, don't you?
Yes. Yes. Instagram is completely different. It's a different, I think it's almost like a different age group.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think Instagram is younger and it's faster, but I love it the same way. And I do some live videos on that too. So yeah, I use both. I love it. I have people reaching out to me from all over the world. I already sent paintings out to Australia, to Netherlands, to England, to Brazil, obviously, but Germany. I've been sending paintings out, and I know how to ship it.
Yeah. I
It's
tell you,
awesome.
things have changed so much since we first started. Because we went from the portraits and you really kind of got burned out real quick, and most people do that do portraits because let's face it, dealing with people and their egos is difficult. Most of the time when you do portraits of somebody, it's so serious. It's such a serious commission, and there's a lot of pressure. And somehow or other, we started working with the animals. These pet portraits that you do, you were really a fabulous portrait artist. And when you went over to this dog, do you do cats too, or do you just do dogs?
I do cats, but cats people are also a little bit different than the dog peoples. Cats don't come around that much.
Yeah, yeah,
But if I need to paint a cat, I'll paint a cat. I can paint horses. I can paint all kind of, and I paint anything. Actually, I cannot say that I paint anything because I'm not really good at landscapings or flowers, for example. I like still lifes, but my still lifes have to have a touch of fun.
yeah.
But I don't care for painting flowers. I don't care for painting landscapes. And so I think this is the beauty of it. Everybody will find their strength. And
Well,
I adore being around the animals,
oh yeah, and dogs. I mean, come on, dogs are just
especially
amazing. Yeah, dogs are like
Oh,
there's so much I just want to talk to you about. Going through, and I'm just going through our histories that
mhm.
we had some interesting conversations with going people, and we started doing these pet portraits. I talk about the three disciplines that an artist has. Is first thing, you have to have desire, and you have had desire from the first time you said hello to me. And you had said, I want to be an artist. I want to be an artist. I don't care, what it is, but this is what I want to do. And we were going down for the portraits for a while, and we were also doing some of my exercises that you have to do
Yes.
to learn how to do highlights and shadows. And then we went from there, and you started doing the pet portraits. It just didn't happen for you real quickly, though, did it?
No, not at all. Well, I guess, Stefan, to be honest with you, it did. But it took a while for me to realize that maybe I should try to paint a dog. I have never in my life painted an animal until 3 years ago, or 4 now. And it all happened after I was coaching with you for a year. I woke up one morning and I'm like, because you exposed me to paint this, paint that, try that, paint this. And one morning I woke up, I remember till this day, it was like, okay, what about I try to paint a dog? And I reached out to a group of friends and I asked them to send me pictures of their own dogs so I wouldn't use a Google picture.
Yes.
And so I had these unique and photos from my friends, and I started painting these dogs just to learn. But people started buying them. They loved it. And so that's it. And then it never stopped.
Yeah.
I continued painting, and that was it.
And I remember though, we did scheme, and there were times that you were like, okay, I'm not quite getting this week any orders. What can I do? And so we would brainstorm. Remember those times? And you would have like little contests. You would say, okay, I'm going to have a contest and have first 10 people that submit a painting that I feel that it was almost like an animal contest. You had to qualify to have you do one. So everybody submitted their animals at that point. And then you got to choose the top 10, and they had the wonderful opportunity to actually purchase that painting that you chose. And you were very clever. That's the one thing that I think that most artists don't get, is that you have to work it. And one of the three legs of the stool that artists stand on is, first I said is desire. You had desire, and then you have to have discipline. You have to be willing to paint even if there are no orders. And I always remembered, you always had your homework done. You would always find something to paint, even if it wasn't an order that you were filling at the time. And then you had tenacity. When things got a little quiet, you would stir the pot, and you would do what you had to do.
Correct. I wake up in the morning, the first thing I think is, what am I going to do for my business today? And if I'm not selling, I'm painting. And I'm creating something else, and I'm studying. And I'm painting whatever dogs, whatever my face.
Do you do that?
I had that. I paint my face all the time.
Oh yeah, you do have a series of your portraits. I remember those too.
The Monday mood, the Tuesday mood.
Yeah. I think you were doing those mood paintings in the transition prior to your pet portraits.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. And you're always looking for something. And the thing is, you've got to be tenacious. You've got to figure out what it is. Because there's a unique style to how you paint your pet portraits. And I would advise anybody to go look you up on Facebook and see how you go about painting them. They're quite different than a lot of the people that are painting portraits. They almost have, first thing, you are the only person I know that can truly, truly get the likeness of the dog. I mean, full disclosure here.
Thank you.
Full disclosure, you painted my Shasta, my little border collie. And I tell you, it is almost frightening that how real she looks. It's not that you paint them, well, you paint them very well, but you capture the essence. It's not just a painting of a border collie. Your talent is to really understand the portrait of the animal you're painting. I mean, that is just uncanny. It's just amazing.
Thank you. I think it must be the love. I really get into that face and understanding how this it's not a photo. You have to put in the real sculpture, the anatomy, the contours, the eyes, obviously, but it's above and beyond copying a photo. I think I get really into it.
And how do you deal with your clients? I mean, they send you a photograph. Do they mostly reach out to you? How do you cause an opening for them to order one? And what kind of correspondence do you have with them in that process?
It's so interesting you asking me this, Stefan, because I find it fascinating that I will hardly talk to anyone.
Really?
Everything is text. I use Messenger the most, or Instagram. People love to text. And I
Really?
message, and I am on it. I have my phone with me 24/7. If someone wants a price and wants to talk about painting their dog, I'm on it. I answer, I drop everything. I want to talk to that person. I want to know about their dogs. I want to see pictures. I fall in love with the faces of their animals right away, uh, especially when it's in memoriam. You talk to the person. First of all, you talk about the dog.
Yes. And
And
what
then
what kind of conversation is that? I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, especially when you're working through text,
mhm.
how do you get a connection with that person?
Well, if someone says, Virginia, I see your paintings, they're magnificent. I would like to know a little bit more. And first thing I say, wow, thank you so much for reaching out to me. And well, what do you have in mind? And then if they want the prices, I give them the price list right away. I have a price list on my phone that I copy paste.
Yeah.
My prices are not a surprise. I'm an open book. I
Mm-hmm.
will negotiate with people that have multiple dogs, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I think my prices are very reasonable and they are all over the place. And so if you're paying that much, the other person is paying the same much.
Yeah. So
I
so
don't
there's
like to, yeah,
there.
and
Go ahead.
and then we talk about if it's a deceased dog, then I'll ask about the dog, and people love to share about their dogs. People love their pets, and I love it too, and I like to learn, and I bond,
Yeah.
and then we talk about and also the only thing I do to start a painting is I'll collect a deposit,
Mm-hmm.
and then we talk about picture, we exchange pictures, and I would advise you what would be a better picture, or a best picture to make a portrait, because you're investing after all. So I'm being more picky lately with a good photo,
Yes. So
because obviously the success of a painting is a good reference photo.
okay.
And then I will crop, I fix it on my computer, and then I time lapse, I film me painting, I take pictures of the photo, and I connect with my client, and I keep sending them photos of the development of the painting, so the person knows what's going on. And they know that, oh, she's working on my pet this week, and that's how it goes. And then when it's done, I take a picture of the finished painting, and then I will seal it. I wrap it really pretty. I have a whole way to create an experience on unpacking the painting.
Mm-hmm.
I have notes and I have stickers, and I just think it's just cute. And I have lots of clients that film them unwrapping the painting, and I use that too on my advantage to share, and the experience of getting the painting is amazing. And my best part of what I do is when someone gets the painting and raves about it and calls me and shares and says, "Oh my God, I love it. This is amazing." And that I go to bed and I'm happy.
I know when I opened up my package from you, and Shasta was there. I was in tears. I mean, it was almost like I couldn't call you for a day because
Uh-huh.
it was so special. I can't imagine some people being like what's that like when somebody all of a sudden gets a portrait, especially of a deceased dog.
Yeah.
You must inspire them. You must. Some of those phone calls must be very difficult.
Well, I can tell you what, Stefan, I really found my calling because I am. Um, there's this book called The Five Languages of Love,
Mm-hmm.
and my way to express love is by serving. I love to uh, get this feedback and this validation, and it's so important to me that people like me and that I do things for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's on my DNA. I
It
love to
is.
please people. I do, and painting and talking about the pets and the love, and it feeds me. It keeps me going every day.
Well,
That's why.
I always say that art is autobiographical. If for you, it's in that way that your passion, your emotion, your connection to people is what
Hmm.
your life is. I mean, I'm just looking at your Facebook, and it's not about you and your paintings. It's about all of the people that you're inspiring, the families, the get-togethers. It's all of that, and that's a beautiful thing about Facebook. The
Yeah,
regular Facebook as opposed to the business accounts. I find that the business accounts for artists is just dull, um,
I agree.
and I think that I'm looking at your account and I'm seeing all of the interaction that you're having with all of the animals that we would never see in one of the business account Facebook. And
Correct.
and as I scroll down, I see little hints of your children. How many kids do you have?
I have three. They're all grown and independent and out, and it's the nicest thing just to sit back and watch them succeed and strive and being happy. It's just wonderful. But I was a stay-home mom my whole life. I always had these odd jobs on the side because I was always very entrepreneurial.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I had a business for 10 years where I had a van and scaffolds and ladders and paint, and I painted murals everywhere. I would drag my kids with me.
And
It was awesome.
didn't you do something on Etsy with little sculptures?
That's correct. I had Etsy for a couple of years. I was doing miniatures with clay, and oh, I can't even remember the name of the thing. But you bake it,
Yeah,
and I learned that skill too. I was always learning something new.
yeah.
That's
Do you do Etsy now with your paintings?
no,
No. Have you tried doing
no.
any eBay with your paintings? I mean, does every one of your paintings do they go to clients, or do you once in a while do a breed and then say, "Oh, I'll throw this border collie painting onto eBay and see what happens"?
I I have to say, Stefan, I hope I don't sound because I am a very humble person, but I don't have time to do anything else but the Facebook and the Instagram, and it's keeping me so busy. I have all these commissions coming in. I've been so busy. I don't have time for anything else, but that would be. I don't have any single painting that I can sell aside a custom one.
Really? So pretty much Instagram and Facebook are your platforms to get clients.
Correct. And I obviously also I have all these different groups that I post every other week, not every week because it really, I got so many leads from them that I can spend a whole day answering leads.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very careful to when I post so I don't get swamped with so many people wanting to ask me questions and I can't answer right there and then.
Yeah.
And
How many hours do you spend, would you say, on average on a day where you have your paintbrush down and you're dealing with office and marketing and answering emails and stuff?
um, okay, I first thing in the morning I do all my marketing when I wake up with my coffee. I can be a good hour on that. And then at nights, when I'm done with my day, well, throughout the day, I'm always looking,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, and I'm posting and so on. So that maybe another 10, 15 minutes per posting. I look and I create and so on. And then every night, when I sit by the TV, it's maybe 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
I will be another hour or two talking to people, helping people with painting questions. I have so many people that reach out to me asking if I can help them with something that they're painting, and I do that. I talk to people and I just tell them, do a little critique and a little motivating,
Mm-hmm.
obviously motivating.
Yeah.
And trying to steer them on the right direction that says maybe what you should do here and that. And I think it's so cool when people reach out to me. I love it. And
Yeah.
that's what I do at nights. So probably on the course of the whole day, I will spend 2-3 hours on the phone just doing marketing and talking to people.
2 or 3 hours of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it does require, it's a full-time job in a way.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And plus the painting.
And how long do you,
and the husband.
I know. So it's like, how long do you usually spend painting, on average? I know it's not the same every day.
Oh, I can paint in average 6 to 8 hours a day.
6 to 8 hours. And those hours probably go by real fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
After I do my market in the morning, I'm in the studio.
Yeah.
By 9 o'clock, 9:30 at the most, I'm painting, and sometimes I go nonstop to 3.
Wow. That's really great.
And then, yeah, I paint a lot. And then in the afternoon, after my break or lunch, I go back to the studio, and I can paint any time until 7, 8, 9 o'clock sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And my live videos are 7:30 to 8:30 p.m.
Yeah.
I love it, Stefan. And I take my breaks. I take my coffee break in the afternoon. I take a break at dinner. I cook dinner. Sometimes I spend an hour in the kitchen, have dinner with the husband, go back to the studio because the studio is in my house.
Yeah, it's wonderful. What's amazing is I was watching this latest video because you took on taking my new dog, the poodle, Sebastian.
Yeah.
And so I watched a little bit of that video. I haven't had time to really watch the whole thing yet. And in the background, I hear your husband doing something and stuff. I mean, what I like about you and what I try to tell my students is perfection leads to paralysis. Don't put together a big studio. Don't be precautious and have some kind of intro or something. I mean, you're just like, here's my wine. Oh, let me adjust the camera. Oh, Harry, the phone's ringing. It's like everything is just kind of chaotic. But that's the thing, though. It is really about getting things out. And I think what was really wonderful about you're so real. You just kind of lay it all out there, and you're just a wonderful sense of possibility. It's just great.
I think you're never ready enough.
Mm-hmm.
The time is now and it's today.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not ready for the video, if my phone is not, I don't care. I want to do it. I want to share with people. I think it's fun. And I may not have the best equipment, but it's good enough for now.
Yeah. I remember when we were just talking about doing some YouTube videos, and I said, just put it up, just do something. Just do something.
Oh, by the way, talking about YouTube videos, I learned how to create my intro. And I spent 4 hours learning. I downloaded a few apps and I created my intro.
Oh, I'll have to go see it.
It may not be the best, but I have it.
So you do have a YouTube station.
I'm going to be sharing the links on my YouTube videos now because I want to create specific classes. I'm really big on color theory. I'm really big on fundamentals of art, and I want to start sharing the color mixing, the color problems, and have little bitty classes and tips for people, and that's going to be my next plan, my YouTube videos.
When are you going to find the time for that? I mean, with everything else, is that crazy?
Stefan, if there's a will, there's a way. It's a little bit every day. The how you achieve your goals is by working on it a little bit at a time. Mm-hmm. And yes, I put 4 hours. I didn't paint it, but I created an intro. Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to learn how to edit my videos. And I put an hour too. You're fine. Instead of sitting at the sofa and watching TV, I'm working on my video.
Yeah, and isn't it kind of fun just to figure it out? I mean, I started doing these podcasts, At first they weren't perfect, but I figured, I was just going to actually take my YouTube videos and just put them into a podcast so people could download them. But I have so many interesting conversations with my coaching students that I thought, let me just have people listen in to some of my advice that way. It's an easy way for me to develop content because I'm so busy. I've got almost 90 coaching students, and I'm all the time coaching, as you know. And but the thing is, you do find the time. I mean, I do my YouTube videos. I do now the podcast. I have my blogs and my emails. Do you send out blogs and newsletters?
I don't. Even though I have a new a website and I have a lot of subscribers on my website, but I don't focus too much on that. Sometimes I do the promotions. Yes, I go in and I do, but I'm not focused on that too much now. But Stefan, your podcasts are amazing. I'm loving it, and they look so elegant. It's so different from your YouTube videos.
Well, thank you.
It's still you, but they have a different. It's just a wrapping.
It's just it's a little bit more polished and not quite so.
It's so cool.
So well, thank you.
It's so modern too, and
Yeah. So
following the trends.
Following the trends. Yeah, the thing. So many of my students were saying, "Well, I'm listening to podcasts while I'm driving and painting," and I thought, maybe I need to look into that. So I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about the podcast thing. And lo and behold, little by little, my first ones were rough. And that's the advice that I give students is like, just do it. If you want to get a YouTube station, get one, because it's really important with Google that you have YouTube, because they're the same company, and also to have Blogger. And you can put your videos up. Now, you put your videos up on Facebook. Isn't that where you have most of your videos downloaded to?
Yes, Facebook and Instagram. And Stefan, podcast is so big. I have been listening to podcasts forever. In fact, I have a podcast on YouTube. I was interviewed last December by this #1 art podcaster for Brazil.
Really?
Brazil.
Wow.
I recorded, it was like a whole hour interview in Portuguese on my studio. This was awesome.
I was going to go say, man, I should go listen to it. I should have listened to it before we had our conversation, but I don't speak Portuguese, so it probably wouldn't make sense.
It would be a little hard.
Yeah. So, well, right now we're kind of experiencing a climate where there's a lot of fear, and a lot of people have lost their jobs with this coronavirus that's going around. All of my students have, instead of saying that we are quarantined at home, we're calling ourselves artists in residence. We're home, but we should be artists. And this is a good time for people to kind of reevaluate their art and, maybe look at making a business out of painting in a way. Because we're only like a couple weeks into this coronavirus thing. Since you're really on the cutting edge of being in with people, what climate are you sensing? Have you noticed the people not commissioning you? Has there been a drop in that, or have you noticed that even though things are not going well, people are still ordering paintings?
Actually, I had an increase on orders.
Wow.
And I heard this woman say the other day on a show, never let a crisis go to waste.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for us artists, now that we are home and everyone else is home,
mm-hmm.
I'm on it. I'm online much more than before. And people are really, they have time now to look and see that you're there.
Wow.
And so for me, things got better.
Wow. You're such an inspiration. I mean,
Isn't it wow?
it is wow.
It's fun.
Things have changed so much since that first coaching call.
Oh my God. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
But I am thankful for you every single day. I admire you so much. I respect you so much. And when I saw that picture of
Sebastian?
Sebastian, I
Hmm.
was like, no, I have to paint this dog for real. I'm painting him again.
Yeah,
Another dog
yeah.
for you. And I worked on it today, as a matter of fact. I've been painting when I have some downtime and I have the commissions and they're all on my wall and they're drying.
Hmm.
I love to have like 8 paintings going at the same time because I get bored or one is too wet and then it needs to sit 2 3 days until I can look at it again. So it's good to have all these paintings going at the same time.
Yeah,
And so I have Sebastian. I work on it today for a little bit, and I have all these other dogs that I like these pictures, and I'll paint them.
yeah.
And sometimes I bump into someone that don't have a big budget or is struggling with the cash flow. I'll say, just give me the picture. I'll paint it. I'll do it a little cheaper for you. It's fine. But so that's how it goes, Stefan. I'm always painting.
Um,
Stefan, how are you feeling? How are things with you and this being locked in?
well, the coronavirus has impacted my business very little. I've had some students that have contacted me and said, I'm out of work, and I go, well, let's go to work, and refocus and try to create a new opportunity for them. And a lot of them
Yeah.
are kind of nervous with uh, part of it is the reason why I wanted to reach out to you and talk to you is that you're such an inspiration, and you're always thinking, you're always, and I use your example a lot. I have a lot of successful coaching students, but
Mm-hmm.
none that have the kind of energy and flair that you have. You're just you're you might paint dogs, but from what I see, you're really connected to people. And I think that makes a big difference. And I think in this time where there's so much fear, I think connecting with people is the greatest gift of all. And what's amazing with your the way you are, the way you interact with people, is that you might be painting people's dogs, but you're really inspiring people to be bigger and better. And I
Thank you.
just think you're just amazing. And so I use your example a lot. I mentioned
Mm-hmm.
that it's not easy. I remember we're just trying to figure out your hashtags for your Instagram. And I remember you going,
Yeah.
God, I only have a few hundred people. I mean, how am I going to get more and more? How many people follow you now on Instagram?
Almost 7,000.
7,000. And I remember when it was
Yeah.
like 700. You know,
Oh my God, I know.
I
I
know
know.
it's
And
like,
you
hmm,
and when in Facebook I had like 500, and
hmm,
those were like my close friends.
yeah,
And then you said you need to have 5,000, and
hmm,
now I got it.
yeah, yeah. And then you start getting really picky about who you start liking when you get towards the end there. Yeah, it's like all
Yeah.
of a sudden you start going, I don't know. You start looking at, I mean, not that many people get 5,000 followers. And at that point, you really start going, should I friend this person or not? Are they really worth, having one, because you reach that 5,000, what are you going to do then? I really wish that they would raise that, but I don't know why they limit that. But you're such a wonderful energy, and it doesn't surprise me that people are reaching out to you during this time of crisis. A lot of my students are fearful, and I go, you know what? Now's the time. And I always ask people when they first start coaching, I always ask them, and I think I asked you too, is like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You
Mm-hmm.
know? And then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it about time now that you be that? And it is a shift. It's a shift that you have to make, but you have to have tenacity and you have to have discipline. Desire to be an artist, that doesn't get you anywhere. Everybody who calls me desires to be an artist. I mean, even if you don't paint, you desire it, because after all, it's the easy A in high school, and we all drink and carouse around and have all this reputation of. We all desire that. It isn't that glamorous. It is a full-time job. You have to work at it. You have to work at your. And the thing is, we live in an era right now where social media is your gallery. I mean, there would be no way that you could have this energy, no way that you would have these commissions if you were involved with a gallery.
Stefan, you told me once about the pianist or someone that plays the piano and has to practice all day and has nothing to show off at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And when you paint and when you're an artist, I keep telling people, practice the goddamn canvas
Mm-hmm.
and then throw it away. Don't save anything or display it like it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
You need to practice and you need to paint every day, and you need to try things and color combinations. And I have lots of canvases, but let me try this black with this blue and this. It's all in the trash can. I can't store things.
Yeah.
And so I think that sometimes people paint the canvas and they want to, or they're afraid to even try things.
Yeah.
And I keep telling them, try for God's sake. Put the paint down, make a mark, experiment, and if it's crap, you can either start over, or when the canvas is totally ruined because you put 10 coats of paint, throw it in the trash can, start fresh.
Yeah, I remember when you first were doing these pet portraits, because you just didn't fall butter side up. You worked at this, and I remember you would send me paintings, and I would go, Virginia, what are you thinking? What were you thinking? Because there were odd color combinations, and I kind of told you, look, you've got to stay pretty close to what the clients want and don't go off into these things.
That's right.
And
I remember. Yep.
Yeah. So, but I tell you, I just think you're an inspiration. I think if people want to become artists, they should take your example and just do it. Just do it. Get onto Facebook, get on Instagram, and really connect with people, because that's what art is. And it's autobiographical. You're living this life. You're being part of it. And it's not something that is an easy A. You work at this.
Yep. And one more thing, don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen in a month or 2 or 3. This is every single day, little steps towards, and then after a year or 2, you're going to go, holy cow, look at that. Yeah. It's happening.
I know.
You cannot drop the ball.
No, and there are hard times. You will sometimes sit there and go, hello, anybody out there? Pay attention. But you have to still have that tenacity. You still have to get on Instagram. You still have to do that. And it's not that complicated. It's more being persistent.
Yeah. And you have to focus on the positives. For example, if one day is a slow day and nothing happens and I'm feeling, oh my gosh, people don't love me anymore, there's always wine.
Yeah, there's always wine. That's right. And like you said,
that works.
and how wonderful your studio must be. You go in there, you pour a glass of wine, and you have all of these wonderful personalities sitting there waiting for you to work on. Like you said, you look up on the wall and you see, your friends, and you'll reach up and pull down one of your friends and start painting on it for a bit, and then you look over and you see another one, and you keep. I mean, what a better place to be, especially if you're isolated right now with this coronavirus. What a wonderful place to be in your studio.
I know. And Stefan, it is so funny because I haven't really noticed the change. I never leave my house, and now I still don't leave my house.
Yeah, artist in residence. I mean, that's just it's
I
just the
know,
thing.
exactly.
Well,
And so obviously when I go to the grocery store, it's just a little more emptier.
yeah, but it's also an
But that's pretty
opportunity
much
for.
all I do.
Do you ever like run up to somebody that has a really awesome dog and just say, "Oh, I paint portraits. Here's my brochure."
I do.
Yes. So you're always looking for the next client, even if it's just on
I'm
Facebook
always,
or
yes,
Instagram.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If you're 3 feet from someone, you can sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
always have my business cards with me. I talk to people. I see someone with a dog. I just like, oh my gosh, how beautiful! Look, I paint dogs. Here you go, here's my card.
you're amazing, and you're an inspiration, and I thank you for taking out some time to talk to me.
You're very
Share your
welcome,
valuable.
Stefan.
Yeah.
It's always a joy talking to you.
Well, thank you so
I'm so
much.
flattered that you decided to give me a call. Love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm reminded by you every day I open up my Facebook and Instagram. There you are. So it was like, of course, you're part of my life, and I'm really proud of your success, and I wish you more and more success.
Thank
And constantly just be the bearer of light and the wonderful personality that you are. You're just amazing.
Thank you so much, Stefan. Likewise.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay, you take care. Have a wonderful day. So there you have it. What an interesting interview with Virginia Lago. If you'd like to get more information about her paintings, you can do so by logging on to her website, www.virginialagoart.com. That's virginialagoart.com, and there you can see more of her work. If you'd like to get more information on me and these podcasts, you can do so at www.stefanbaumann.com, and there you can register for a free book, Everything You Need to Know About Landscape Painting. You can also get information about my workshops and also my videos on YouTube. If you'd like to get more information about getting personal coaching, there's information on my website, or you could just pick up a phone and give me a call at 415-606-9074. And yes, I do answer my own phone, and that is my personal cell phone, so you can get directly to me. So until then, keep your brushes wet and remember to always paint with passion. Till next time, have a good day.